I just got home from seeing Bring Her Back, and hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with my review of Bring Her Back, which is the second film from Danny and Michael Filipoos, whose debut film, Talk to Me, was one of my favorite movies of 2023. They followed it up with a movie that I can genuinely say is one of the most unnerving films that I can remember seeing in a very long time. Now, a lot of this movie is built around how it slowly unfolds, so I'm only going to give you the very basic plot setup here. Billy Barrett and Sora Wong play two foster siblings, Andy and Piper, who were sent to live with their new foster parent, Laura, played by Sally Hawkins. Laura's daughter, Kathy, who like Piper was blind, tragically passed away, and Laura is still the caretaker of Oliver, a young mute boy. But as the siblings settle into their home, they realize that things aren't as they seem in this new house, with horrifying effects. Bring Her Back is an A24 horror film, and they've kind of built their own subgenre within the horror genre so that you kind of know what to expect. But I have to warn you here that this movie really got to me. It got to me more than 2 episodes of Taskmaster could shake once I got home. When the credits rolled on this film, I actually stood up and got out of the theater as quickly as I could because I felt like I had to put some physical distance between me and this film. I drove home in complete silence, and even then I almost missed the turn to go to my house because this movie was just ricocheting around my brain. I'm not overhyping it. I'm not overselling it here. A24 has a history of kind of overhyping their movies as like the scariest movie ever, and I wouldn't exactly call Bring Her Back that, but it really got to me. If horror movies tend to affect you, then I have to warn you that this is a hard movie to shake. And part of it, and I think that this should be flagged going in, is that there is a lot of peril in this movie, and almost all of it is confronted by characters who are kids, who are under 18 years old. And I've talked about this with horror movies in the past, that this is a very fine line to walk, and that if you're going to involve kids in situations like this, then you have to treat it as consequential and horrific. And the movie definitely does that. I don't think that it falls on the wrong side of that line, but that also makes what this movie is even more disturbing. And so I should say right up front that if you have trouble with kids in peril, then this might not be the movie for you. This isn't a typical horror movie, as very few from A24 are. There are no jump scares, and it doesn't follow the typical horror movie structure. Instead, it reels you in very slowly. It reminded me of that scene from Jaws. I'm going to go back to my comfort place here, where Quint is just watching that reel slowly click until the shark runs with the line. Except that this movie is hooking you, and once you're on the hook and the movie runs, the water just gets deeper and deeper and deeper with no bottom in sight. This is not the kind of horror film that you walk out of the theater laughing with your friends because of the ride that you've just been on. This is more of that kind of slow, silent walk out type of movie. Every kind of horror you can think of is in this film. Body horror, emotional horror, psychological horror, and it's all cranked up to 11. I mean, I can almost feel the C- or D cinema score coming for this movie because it is not here to hold your hand or tell you that everything is going to be all right. It's definitely not something that everybody's going to enjoy. This movie's here to scare you in that pit of your stomach dread kind of way. I didn't feel good coming out of this movie, but that's what the movie's intentions are. It did exactly what it was designed to do, and movies and art in general are supposed to evoke an emotional response. It's just that in this case, I don't know if everybody's going to be comfortable with the emotional response that it actually does evoke. Some people, I think, are actively going to resent this film because it has a determination to, for lack of a better word, bum you out. But it's a really well crafted film, and the performances are as superbly crafted as the movie is harrowing. Billy Barrett, as Andy, the older of the two siblings, carries the weight of the world and his family's history on his shoulders, and it's a great performance. I'm glad that this was better than the last movie I saw this actor in, Kraven the Hunter, where he played the young version of Fred Heckinger's character, Dimitri. Sora Wong makes her acting debut in the film as Piper, Andy's younger sister. She, the actress, is partially blind, playing a blind character, and I admire that the filmmakers sought that authenticity for the role. They didn't just cast a partially blind actress, they cast a great actress who is also partially blind. And this movie doesn't work if you don't care about Piper's character, and Sora Wong did such a great job of making you care. Jonah Ren Phillips probably won't get as much recognition for playing Oliver because his part is largely without dialogue, but the movie also doesn't work without him. He embodies something wholly different from anything else in this movie, but it's the key to so much of the movie's horror, and the most disturbing moments that keep flashing across my brain almost all involve him. And then we have Sally Hawkins as Laura, the grieving foster mother who takes the siblings in. Now, if you know me at all, you know that I don't invoke Toni Collette in Hereditary lightly, but this is a Toni-esque performance. It's crazy how many different notes Sally Hawkins has to hit in this movie, and she hits all of them. And, I can never replace Toni Collette in my heart, but I can almost promise you that come award season, I will be sitting right here at this table talking into this microphone, complaining that the major awards bodies have yet again overlooked a fantastic performance from an actress in a horror movie. Sally Hawkins is that good in this film. All of this is tied together by Danny and Michael Filipoos, who I both admire as filmmakers and deeply, deeply worry about as human beings. I mean, I barely had the nerve to watch this movie, and I can't imagine having what it takes to actually make it. They've now made two of the most effective and disturbing horror films this decade, and I can't wait for them to make another one, but I actually hope that they take a couple of years before they make it, because quite frankly, I need the recovery time. Now, Bring Her Back isn't a perfect movie. I think it does stumble towards the end, as many movies like this do, when they have to shift from being kind of tonal to actually cementing some of the plot and some of the rules that they have in place. But that doesn't really affect the overall impact of the film. It just affects how certain moments might hit you. And that's in addition to the fact that this is a film that's going to be either too slow or too intense or both for a lot of people. Anytime I talk about being genuinely disturbed by a movie, there is a portion of the audience that calls me a wimp or calls me soft, because the horror audience has different levels of tolerance. But I can't imagine watching this movie and not coming out affected in some way. Talk to Me had a lot of disturbing moments, but this movie to me was much more viscerally upsetting. I've watched Talk to Me a couple of times since it came out, and I've enjoyed watching it both times, but I can't imagine watching Bring Her Back more than one or two more times total. That doesn't mean that it's a worse film. It just means that it is a harder film to watch. I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to talk you out of seeing this movie, but you need to know what you're getting into. This is hardcore, even for A24. And much more psychological in its effect than your standard scary movie. But if you're up for it and you have some time to decompress afterwards, I am definitely going to recommend it. You just have to know what you're signing up for. So if this is the kind of movie that you already know appeals to you, I say see it now. If you're turned off by movies like this or have been in the past, then I think that you should probably stay away. But for me, Bring Her Back lands solidly in the it's good range. This is a movie I'm going to be thinking about for a very, very long time, even quite frankly, when I don't want to. So those are my thoughts on Bring Her Back, which is in wide release this weekend here in the US. What do you think? Have you already seen it? Are you planning to see it this weekend? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to stay tuned right here on the channel for the latest in movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.